Right, hello guys, this is Luton. Now I just want to say as a disclaimer that yes, this is a re-upload of an older video. If you want to understand the reason why, just look at my comment, the first in the notes below. I didn't want to have to put a lengthy explanation here because it would ruin the video, so just check out the comments below. But because of this now, I will soon look to make an updated, more in-depth, detailed version of this video. So you can consider this a refresher. Today we'll learn about one of the most prestigious honours bestowed upon a rare few Space Marines at the end of their lives. The truth of how a Dreadnought functions is typically grim in the grim darkness of the far future. Those Astartes who fought with glory above all else, honoured veterans could find themselves entombed to serve their chapter, from there on becoming a devastatingly powerful war machine on the harrowing warscapes in the dark reality of the far future. A Dreadnought is a terrifying, walking heavy tank, a cybernetically enhanced killing machine of earth-shaking power and strength. Its main role is as a heavy support platform for infantry, and its most commonly deployed pattern is the Castroferum Mark IV and V type. These types were chosen because they use an adaptable thermic reactor, which is more well understood than those of older pattern Dreadnoughts. The Castroferum was introduced for its ability to carry out a wide range of tactical roles, including direct assaults, boarding, tunnel and subterranean combat. It was once said that during the unification wars on Earth, prototype dreadnoughts could be piloted by ordinary crippled in-battle human warrior pilots, but now with the developed and far more powerful dreadnoughts, these war tombs are reserved only for the Astartes of the Emperor. Dreadnoughts are pure walking machines of fear. Their dominating size and weaponry enables them to be equipped with powerful, heavy and close-quarter weapons. If an especially strong veteran Space Marine is mortally wounded on the battlefield, crippled by some extreme blow or devastating impact that literally breaks their body and smashes them to pieces, if still alive and having a spark of life, if neurally intact, instead of being mercifully killed by a brother Astartes, they will be repaired as best as possible and then entombed within the sarcophagus of a Dreadnought war machine. Their brain will be neurally linked straight into the cybernetic components and mechanisms of the Dreadnought, and from there on be able to use their war machine as if it were their own body, not entirely dissimilar to how power and Terminator armor functions, by being connected through ports in the body to extend the movement of a Space Marine. The broken remains of the Marine will be housed within the thick ceramite shell of the Dreadnought, protected from the harsh battle environment outside. The now very weak and ruined physical organs of the body will be kept suspended in amniotic fluids, still necessary to maintain the neural part of the Marine, who will now survive using mechanically enhanced senses to perceive the world around him. This is not a Space Marine's death, it is their glorious rebirth. The stasis vault or crypt within an Astartes fortress monastery that will house the dreadnoughts of that chapter is more than just a place to store them until needed. It is a pure holy shrine. Astartes tech marines will tend to the dreadnoughts with the utmost care and diligence, and also in true Imperium fashion be sure to apply sacred oils and chants to preserve their spirits. No doubt there's some incense going on there as well. All of this honours the broken but revered heroes of the chapter who embody everything their chapter is and who are ready at any time to serve their brother Astartes and the Emperor. For once interred into the sarcophagus of a dreadnought, these Marines will not leave it until their extended existence is damaged beyond hope of survival. In one way, they are imprisoned to serve the Emperor well past their mortal lives, to throw themselves with no fear into battle and bring devastating vengeance upon the enemies of humanity. But truly this is no prison sentence, it is a glorious honour to continue the spirit of all Space Marines leading a life of endless battle until they are finally, eventually destroyed. If anything, a Dreadnought is the sheer embodiment of all that the Astartes strive for in their lives, to continue fighting for the Imperium and the Emperor, no matter the injury or the obstacle, to absolutely fight on and not stop until they are finally dead. These machines of war are, like most things deployed by the Imperium, immensely powerful in both defense and attack capability. Their armoured shells are thick ceramite and adamantium. Ceramite being a non-conductive ceramic material, it's very effective at protecting versus heat and energy-based weapons. Adamantium is one of the strongest materials used by the Imperium of Man and is the same material used in the Eternity Gate, the gates that protect the Emperor sitting on his golden throne in the Imperial Palace on Terra. These separate elements and limbs of a dreadnought are all connected via durable and well-protected heavy bundles of electrofibre and magna coils. Tech Marines will equip a dreadnought with whatever weapons and tools are necessary to suit the specific combat mission they're assigned to, and these are all fairly typical for Astartes usage, but the heavy weapons are often twin-linked variants as you might see mounted on Imperial tanks. Things like las cannons, autocannons, bolters, or standalone heavy weapons like multi-melters, plasma and assault cannons. The left melee arm of the dreadnought is often seen with a power claw or power fist, which then may be additionally combined with a storm bolter or heavy flamer. The entire left arm is sometimes also replaced with a missile launcher unit when this level of firepower is required for more ranged engagements. The right arm can also be replaced with an additional melee system should the situation warrant. The dreadnought can also be equipped with additional armor plating to protect weaker points on it if an engagement looks like it's going to be especially heavy. Atop the dreadnought is usually mounted also a smoke launcher system. These are non-lethal self-defense systems to create a localized barrier of smoke in and around the dreadnought or often a tank. These smoke barriers could be used when a retreat is necessary, or if a unit is found in a situation with little or no available cover. It could also be used to protect other units who need to embark or disembark battlefield dropships. Dreadnoughts are also equipped additionally with speaker systems to enable them to communicate with brother Marines on the ground. Their voices though are obviously not their own, and so instead what emanates from the dreadnought is a wholly machine voice, making interaction with dreadnoughts for some an unsettling or difficult to communicate experience. Many dreadnoughts as well are of a significant age, well beyond their naturally extended superhuman years as an ordinary space marine. Many could be so old as to actually recall the founding of their chapters and the earliest days of the Imperium and the Emperor. These are further reasons as to why they are so revered within their chapter. These holy relics are known as Venerable dreadnoughts, and they embody the lifespan of the chapter. As powerful as a dreadnought is, it can be damaged or critically disabled. This though is simply the machine element. So long as the armoured sarcophagus tomb containing the pilot is intact, then it can be recovered and hopefully repaired. If a dreadnought is though ever critically disabled, destroyed or broken in battle, as with many powerful relics of the Imperium, Space Marines will fight with bitter and fanatical fury to recover not just the machine itself, but also its occupant, so that they can then be returned to the chapter's mausoleum for his well-deserved resting place and eternal glory for mankind. As with many things in the Imperium, the ancient nature of dreadnoughts means the knowledge to construct them has been almost, if not already, lost. This scarcity of knowledge means only a very few, if any, specialists would dare to attempt construction of new dreadnoughts. Venerable dreadnoughts are sometimes referred to also as ancients or old ones, and those like Bjorn the Fell-Handed of Space Wolves or Guldur of the Salamanders will remember many thousands of years of combat experience. These older pattern dreadnoughts often feature more unstable though and less combat effective weaponry in the comparative modern ages. These older dreadnoughts can be harder to bring around from stasis as well, given the significant time that has passed. The older pattern units as well are more likely to encounter problems, and the replacement parts or the knowledge needed to repair them no longer exists. So because of either the difficulty to rouse them from their sleep, or the concern that parts may be unavailable and leave them unable to walk if they were to go into combat, some venerable dreadnoughts are approached by their brothers as advisors in the governance or planning of chapter operations. For example, Bjorn the Fell-Handed of the Space Wolves chapter was once a member of his Primarch Leman Russ's personal retinue and fought in the devastating civil war of the Horus Heresy, so their knowledge and perspective is beyond value for their chapters in the current age. They will have seen and know things that no others can begin to hope to accomplish, and so their insight is immensely valued by their chapter brothers. There are very few patterns of dreadnought that exist beyond the standard Castroferrum during the 41st or 42nd millennium. The ancient relic Contemptor pattern dreadnoughts are rare, and many others such as the Leviathan dreadnoughts even rarer. There is a lot to go over on the specifics of patterns and also tactical loadouts and chapter specific variants, so I'll leave that for a follow-up. One worth mentioning though are proto-dreadnoughts. This is not actually a specific pattern or variant of dreadnought, it's often more of a catch-all term for pre-Imperium dreadnoughts likely dating back right through to the Dark Age of technology. It's easy to understand why in this time dreadnoughts would have been conceived, even if it wasn't termed a dreadnought at the time, especially if, say for example, on a colony world a critical member of that colony suffered a life-threatening injury that simply for whatever reason could not be healed. The colony STC would have come up with a solution to preserve that person's life, and whilst it might not have been something that was visualized as a dreadnought today, it could have been the foundation for it. Situations like this could well be the origin of dreadnoughts, or perhaps they were originally some sort of labor-saving machine to assist colonists carry out tasks, or an adaptation of an AI system. Who can say? We are unlikely to ever know, unless the holy grail quest of the Imperium were ever found, that of a working intact STC archive, and the chances of that are very rare indeed. Early proto-dreadnoughts though were known to be capable of being piloted, as I stated earlier, by unenhanced humans. And because of the power and general survivability, it's understood that many of these proto-dreadnoughts would survive through the Age of Strife and Unification Wars, to then be brought together under the banner of the Emperor. They would then be later combined with the superhuman advancements of the new Astartes to create the advanced war machine dreadnoughts used through the Crusade and Heresy period on into the modern age. Dreadnoughts are utterly terrifying figures of power on any battlefield, taking thunderous strides across wastelands as incoming fire spatters off their heavily armoured adamantium and ceramite shells, fighting forward with ferocious tenacity using their vast wealth of accumulated tactical and combat experience. They are far more than just a heavy weapons platform. They are supremely experienced warriors and well noted as being difficult to slay by enemies of the Imperium. In almost all cases of full destruction, where the sarcophagus tomb at the centre of the dreadnought is destroyed, killing the pilot is only what will be enough to truly put a dreadnought out of action. And even then, if possible, where the Astartes can recover the dreadnought shell, it will be repaired with care and devotion by tech marines to await the next hero of the chapter to be interred within its tomb sarcophagus. Dreadnoughts for the Imperium of Man, and especially the Astartes, hold great value and importance. They are undoubtedly powerful machines of war, but perhaps more importantly, they are literal links to the past. Their knowledge, wisdom and insight can in many ways be seen as even more valuable than their fighting prowess and the heavy weapons they wield. After all, what Space Marine worth his salt would not want to fight alongside an ancient warrior who may have fought alongside the Emperor himself at one time? Dreadnoughts are holy relics of a chapter, the Imperium's technology, personal wisdom and presence of mind. All are devoted, veteran warriors of the Emperor who will fight any battle at any time and any place. They are the keepers of traditions and the custodians of knowledge, whose advice may be sought by brother Marines and even chapter masters alike. But in times of war they'll be called upon in the most dangerous and severe deployments. Awakening a dreadnought to serve his chapter is no thing to be taken lightly, for they are death incarnate, and the enemies of mankind will tremble at the sight of these ancient heroes bringing glory to their chapter and vengeance upon the Xenos who must be purged and exterminated in the name of the Emperor of Man.